I'm live and I am alive. So, hello everyone and welcome to your seated yoga practice. And so my name is Bobbie and I'll be teaching the class today with a little bit of help maybe from my friend Evie, who happens to be my bunny rabbit, and a lot of help from friends and people out there that I can't see behind the scenes, and appreciation for all that it takes to actually get to a yoga class. And so, as always, I'd like to invite you to begin by finding a comfortable seat. And so it is challenging for our nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And so making sure that if you're seated in a wheelchair, that your chair is turned off, feet are placed evenly on your footrest or on the floor. And then rooting down to your sits bones. So our sits bones at the moment are kind of like the feet of our pose right now. So sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. So you're noticing where your sits bones are in contact with your chair. And then energy moving in two directions, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. And so you might imagine that you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up in the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And from here, we'll transition into mindful movement. And so as you're ready, reach your arm way up to the sky. And then slowly, Heidi, float your arm down. So gentle movement, reaching up, full length of your inhale. And on exhale, float your arm down the full length of your exhale. It's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs. Wherever feels comfortable for you, and we'll begin the movement on the other side, reaching up, way up to the sky. And then slowly float your arm down. It's as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs. And together we can explore, if you like, reaching both arms way up to the sky. Place your hands on the back of your head. And take a moment, notice how that feels to have your hands in this placement. And so if this makes you lose your balance in any way, an alternative would be to maybe bend your elbows, fold your fingers in, some gold posts. And today, pardon me, I'm going to place my hands on the back of my head. And together, we can shout out, I am, I can, and I will. And because I love the idea of we, together we can shout out, and I can't hear you. We are, we can, and we will. And with a sigh of relief, Release your arms down by your side. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then as you're ready, an invitation to ground through your feet. Center and ground through the soles of your feet. You even want to walk your feet forward a little bit if that feels better for you. And so we want to keep our connection with Mother Nature. Sadly, we tend to start losing that. Root down through your sits bones, so maybe noticing where your bottom's in contact with your chair. Your bum and your thighs. And then energy moving in two directions, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then an invitation to begin to move your gaze downward. Maybe even closing your eyes softly if that feels comfortable for you. And so moving away from the busyness in our brains and more towards our heart. And so inviting, allowing our facial muscles to soften and release. Our jaws relax. And then when you're ready, an invitation to explore with me a simple breathing exercise that research shows can help with pain management and anxiety. And so sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. And so actually I wanted today to introduce a few of the things that I like to utilize in a yoga class, whether I'm teaching as an offering, to set ourselves up comfortably, would be seated in a chair. A rolled sticky mat can feel amazing along your spine. It might be that a bolster feels even better. And almost always, I like to have a blanket. My favorite blanket could be a pillow, maybe your pet. And so sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And then an invitation to place your hands on your Buddha belly. So that area between our navel and our pubic bone. You might even feel comfortable to place one hand on your yoga belly, the other on your heart center. And then begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. And then see if you can begin to smooth out your breath. So that your inhales and your exhales are about the same duration and quality. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. And now I'd like to invite you to see if you can add a quality of softness to your breath. So you might imagine that you just tasted something delicious. Or it might be that you're petting your favorite animal friend. And see if you can bring some of that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are too tight or knotted. Our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And just for a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable, I'd like to invite you to keep this simple but not easy practice flowing. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted, as often it will, an invitation to bring a gentle awareness to the sounds around you. So I can hear the ticking of the old clock in my living space. I can hear the creaks and cracks of this old Hannibal cabin. And then in a loving way, bring your awareness back to your breath. It's our old friend, our breath. And wherever you are in your breath cycle, allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. So maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. And then drop your chin towards your chest. And then gradually blink your eyes open. And so we're falling awake, not asleep. Falling awake, not asleep. So, and notice if you felt a subtle shift in your energy. And so we've begun the process of tuning into our bodies and connecting with our breath. And so at this time, I'd like to invite you to walk your hips forward in the chair. So maybe coming forward about 2/3 of the way. If you need or would like the back of the chair for support today, honor that. And so yoga meets us right where we are. And then maybe if you place something behind you so it doesn't become a nuisance, set it aside. And so let's repose. So sitting up nice and tall. Ground through your feet, so maybe pushing down through one foot and then down through the other. And so this might be an energetic pushing down. And maybe even noticing if you can feel one foot more than the other. And then roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And so you might even take 2 fingers if that works for you. Place them on your chin. Or you can imagine that you're a turtle. And then from here, arms by our sides, spiral your palms open. Open up your armpits. And wiggly fidgets. So shake your hands vigorously. And so if anything I share with you today feels uncomfortable, if it hurts, skip it. Come back to your breath. And so if we are tuned in, focused on our breath, we are practicing yoga. So I'd like to invite you to keep that gentle awareness of your breath throughout your practice today that we created earlier and the beginning. And then when you're ready, an invitation to bring your hands together, rub your palms vigorously. So energize your hands, warm up your hands. And if you are blessed with a yoga buddy today, a friend that can work with you, that would be lovely. So either placing your own hands, bringing them up to your eyes, or maybe having a yoga buddy place their hands gently over your eyes. And then sweep your hands across your eyes. And then when you're ready, an invitation to reach across, wherever you can reach comfortably, and then tap from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. And then reach back and give yourself a pat on the back. And then other side, tapping from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. And then reaching back, pat on the back. And so from here, I'd like to invite you to reach one arm up, and then come right up under your armpit, tapping. So lots of lymph nodes in this area. So your armpit, down along your side body to your head, and then release. Reach your other arm up. So not forcing movement, but allowing it to happen. Tapping down along your side body to your head. And release. And so it might be today that if you're not physically doing the movements, an invitation to explore imagining the movements. So visualizing the movements. Imagination is powerful. And then when you're ready, I'd like to invite you to bring your hands up to your head. And you could say, wake up, breathe. Wake up, breathe. And maybe the back of your neck. Moving up. Good. And so I haven't taught this for a little while, some of it. So just doing whatever feels comfortable for you. And so sweeping down your shoulder, down along your hands. And other side. So inhale, let, exhale, go. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, tapping center, or chest, upper. And so this tapping in this area can be calming for our nervous system. So it's important not to overdo it, however. And then when you're ready, you just bring your hands to your Buddha belly and massaging. So our stomach, so our organs sending us some love. There's liver. You might even want to make a sound like a your liver is overheated. Digestion. Your stomach. And then leaning forward a little bit if you'd like, reaching your lower back. Or you can imagine that I'm massaging your lower back. And then maybe reaching up a little higher where kidneys and adrenal glands live. And so kidneys, adrenal glands are close to the surface, so important to keep this area warm. And then maybe pressing down with one hand, sitting up tall. sweeping, coming forward and letting that go. And then if you'd like, sweeping along your thighs or knees, maybe coming forward a little, wherever you can reach comfortably. So it might be that you feel okay with reaching down to your feet and then sweeping back up. Sending some of that loving energy down. And come on back up. And then an invitation to place your hands just a few inches apart. It's okay to rest your hands on your thighs if you'd like. Close your eyes softly or soften your gaze and notice any subtle sensations. And moving on. So I'd be curious to know if anybody felt anything between your hands. And sometimes we're super duper sensitive. We might feel a little heat or tingling. And so arms by your sides, spiral your palms open, reach out, out, out. So we're grounded through our feet, sit bones sharp on a chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a cord or a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. So roll your palms so your hands face down. Turn your palms face down and then face up. Maybe notice which feels better for you, palms face down or palms face up. So it might be your arms are a little lower, a little higher. And then when you're ready, palms face up. Breathing in, reach up to the sky. And this time, maybe bringing your palms together in prayer. Might even feel okay to interlace your fingers loosely, turning your palms face up. And then slowly out of the pose. And so when we lengthen our exhale, it is calming for our nervous system. Shoulders back and down, we'll give a little shake again. So a little more vigorous this time, do the bum hands. I'm just going to stand for a moment. And, and so take a moment, notice how you feel. And so, of course, not about what we look like in our yoga practice. The diagnostic tool is, how do I feel? And so no judgment, maybe checking in, notice where your mind went. Notice how's your breath. Notice maybe any subtle sensations. And so moving on, I'm just going to invite you to repose, so sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. I'd like to invite you to tap your toes. So I was hoping to have my feet in the picture today. They're pretty important. But yeah, so tap your toes, tap a little faster, maybe tapping out to the side, and leaning back at center. So traditionally, yoga is practiced barefoot. So whenever possible, I like to take my shoes off for a few moments. And so that said, understandably, some of us need our shoes for stability. If you're, you might feel a little embarrassed about your feet. And certainly each time I expose my feet, I feel a little twinge. And so I'm actually going to go ahead and take my sandals off. And I'm going to put a blanket on the floor underneath my feet. And so this lovely blanket on the floor will keep my feet warm. warm. And I'm also going to step over here for a moment to get a hold of my book. And so, sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. I'd like to share a piece of writing that is in a book called When Women Were Birds, 54 Variations on Voice. Certainly I'm still finding mine. Terry Tempest Williams. So she's also, I guess, author of a book called Refuge. And I read this last week, and I will read it again. So what if there were a hidden pleasure in calling a thing by another name? Ray Armantrout. Not sure if I'm pronouncing his name properly, but my best effort. So what if there was a hidden pleasure in calling one thing by another name? And so ground through your feet, centering ground through the soles of your feet. So if you have a yoga buddy that can maybe at this time place their hands on your ankles, maybe take care of themselves, of course, in front of you, on the yoga mat or whatever feels comfortable for both of you. Or it might be that they're able to place their hands on your knees. And notice if that helps to give you more of a grounding feeling. So we want to ground through our feet, center and ground. And then root down through your sits bones. So maybe noticing where your thighs and your bottom are in contact with your seat. And so it might be a yoga buddy will place their hands, if social distancing, so you have to be within your bubble and so on. So it might be that you imagine maybe that my hands are there. And then lengthening from the tip of your tailbone right up through to the crown of your head. So our Buddha belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone, is soft. And so not an easy place to get to in our culture. A soft belly. And then lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And from here, we'll move into a gentle warm-up for our neck and shoulders. So as you're ready, begin simple neck rolls. See if you can resist the temptation to move to your full range of motion. And then other direction. See if you can maybe create a little half smile, like a little Buddha smile. So when we smile, it releases saliva. And so we want a nice juicy mouth and juicy body. And then if you'd like, moving your head up and down as if nodding yes. We are, we can, and we will. And then maybe just tipping your head from side to side a few times. And then if you'd like, reaching your arms up in front of you, turn your palms face up, and then an invitation to take your hands to your shoulders, and then stretch your palms. So feel the skin between your fingers. Take your hands to your shoulders, stretch your palms. Maybe alternating from side to side. So our yoga belly or Buddha belly, if you'd like, is soft, our breath is quiet. Release your arms down by your sides, spiral your palms open. Soft bending your elbows, take your hands to your shoulders. And then when you're ready, imagine that you're drawing circles with your elbow points. So maybe on the wall in front of you, the monitor. And then other direction. Maybe it feels okay or it feels better for you to alternate from side to side. And so not about forcing one limb to do what the other is doing. We just want our limbs talking to each other. Release your arms down by your side. Spiral your palms open. Open up your armpits. And so stretch, 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 stretch. Turn your palms face up. And then when you're ready, I'm not too sure where I'm going from here. We'll just float our arms down again. Shoulders back and down. Release your arms down by your side and rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And notice, how's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. Trust that the sensations are there. It's not going to be a rocket ship across the sky. Maybe. And so moving on, we'll do some movements for our hands. And so hands connected not only to our heart, but to our mind as well. And so if you'd like, you can actually maybe give your hands a nice rub again, warming up your hands, energizing your hands. You're giving yourself a hug. How about that? Big bear hug. So reaching across. Oh, see if you can walk your fingers back a little further. And bear hug. Bear hug number one. Cross your other arm over top. I love me hug. And because I love me, I can love all of you. So we can extend our arms up and away. And bring our hands back to our heart center maybe. Or release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And so let's stretch our palms. And maybe make soft fists. So you can imagine starfish, bear claw, soft fists. So I'm teaching from a rural community, and it is for sure bear country. Starfish, I'm also by the ocean, not too about 10-minute walk from the ocean. So starfish, bear claw, soft fist. And then maybe circling your wrists in one direction. Circle in the opposite direction. And notice, is one wrist tighter than the other? So we tend to be tighter on one side. So bringing your awareness, becoming aware. And then release your arms by your side. And from here, I'd like to transition into a practice adding a sound to our movements. And so on inhale, I'd like to invite you to reach your arm up, spiral your palms open. With a soft bend in your elbow, gazing beyond your little finger. Extend your arm away from you, making a shh sound. So you might not hear me, I don't know. Shh. Inhale, meet back at center, palm face down, release. So I'm told that the shh down can help with tremors, spasms. Inhale, reach up. Spiral your palm open. Exhale. Inhale, knee back at center. Palm face down. Release. And so let's add maybe turning our head if that feels comfortable for you. Otherwise, keeping your head straight ahead. And so reaching up. Turn your palm face up. Exhale. On inhale, knee back at center. Palm face down. Release. Inhale, float your arm up. Spiral your palm open. Moving with grace and ease. Inhale, knee back at center. Palm face down. Release. So one more time on each side. Reaching up. Turn your palm face up. Exhale. Inhale, knee back at center. Palm face down. Release. Last time. Reaching up. Turn your palm face up. On exhale. Inhale, knee back at center. Palm face down. Release. Release both arms down by your side. And maybe just letting your arms hang there if that feels okay for you, or maybe resting on your armrest. And notice, how's your breath? Notice any subtle sensations. And then rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And so from here, I'd like to come into a practice called finding our balance. And so it might be that you do a little bum dance, shift your weight from side to side, maybe pulling the buttock flesh away from your sits bones. And if it feels okay for you, maybe walking your feet so they're a little wider than outer hip bone distance, if possible. And then placing your hands in your hip creases, hinging from your hips, an invitation to come into a gentle movement, so rocking forward. And so it's not about seeing how far we can go. Just want to come to that just right amount of effort and ease. And then rock back up. So an invitation to keep this gentle movement flowing in your own time and rhythm. For a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable. And then slowly finish up the movement that you're on. Release your arms down by your side, then rest your hands on your thighs. Palm up or down as desired. And notice how this feels. And then moving on. Begin to shift your weight from side to side. So it might feel okay to release your arms down by your side, extending beyond your wrists, your fingertips. And sometimes it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these movements. And then an invitation to bend your arms low in front of you, or maybe a little higher. Looking straight ahead, that can help us focus our mind. Gently twist from side to side. So for years now, I've been saying the new advanced yoga is gentle yoga, and I'd like to happily share that my new phrase that I would like to use to describe our yoga practice So the new advanced yoga is an accessible yoga practice. And then if you'd like, maybe bend your elbows, fingers reaching to the sky. And so moving with your breath, twist from side to side. And so if you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, you could reach your arms up a little higher. So elbows would be in line, more in line with our shoulders here, or it could be lower, or continue with arms bent if you'd like. And so I like to hear my breath as I practice, so if that works for you, that can sometimes help us focus our mind. So I'm going to inhale and exhale through my nose, making a sound. And slowly make yourself, and take yourself back to a neutral spine, float your arms down. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. Maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. So you can place one hand on your Buddha belly, the other on your heart center. And remembering your intention for your yoga practice. And so arms by your side, release your hands, and then again, weakly, just shake your hands vigorously. And so I actually broke down after about, I don't know, 25, 30 years and purchased a watch to keep myself on time through the class. And so the class generally is an hour long. However, that said, of course, if at any time you need to leave the space, and of course, most of you are in your own homes, which is lovely, you can do your own thing. However, if I was kind of teaching in a yoga space, I would say what I'm saying to you today, which is if you need to leave the class for any reason to take care of yourself, do so. And of course, we're not going to be disrupting anyone. We're in our own homes as we leave the class. And you're more than welcome to come back or not. Also, if you ever feel any dizziness, nausea, in your yoga practice, pain exacerbated, come out of the pose or the movement. And take a moment to, especially, with the dizziness, with neck movements, it might be something that you want to have checked out. And so it might be that your body's inviting you or asking you to maybe back off a little bit from the movement of the pose. And so, and then come back into the pose or the movement if you'd like, maybe a little slower, or just might not be the pose for you today. So, technology, I've had a dear friend and said, yay, we can see you and we can hear you and we're in. And so, yeah, that's wonderful news. And so we'll begin again, Finnegan. And so just shaking it. So dance like a toddler, right? So toddlers don't care who's watching. And we all have our own sense of rhythm, and rhythm is one of the sensations, one of the principles that we want to focus on in our yoga practice. So keeping our sense of rhythm, and again, it's along with balance, it's something that we can begin to lose maybe as we age or for whatever reason. And so yoga helps with preventing that loss, and it might even help us regain some of that. And so sense of rhythm, wiggly fidgets. And so before we move into our final relaxation and short guided meditation, I'd like to invite you to join me in a practice called waving to our ancestors. So this is a practice. Yoga is a practice that's thousands of years old, and so I really want to honor my teachers and all the learning that's come to me, it's been shared with me, so that I can pass this amazing gift along, the yoga, India's gift to the West. And so waving to our ancestors. And so I learned this from a yoga teacher whose name I can't remember right now. And so sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. Bring your hands in front of you, and then begin to wave your hands. So we can imagine that we're waving to each other if we can't see each other. And then reaching up, waving. And then hinging from the hips, coming forward a little with the flat back, waving. And one more time, reaching up. So good morning, afternoon, depending where you are in the world or in the country. And so wave. And just like you're a leaf in the wind or shaking water off your hands, you can allow your hands to float down by your side. And then an invitation to come into a comfortable seated position for your short guided meditation, brief. And so if you'd like, maybe placing something along your spine again, if that works for you. So it might be a yoga block, a blanket. Make sure that you are warm. And so my feet are cold. And so I'm going to throw this old jacket that I have on my feet to keep them warm, wrap them up. And so for this meditation practice, of course, we're doing a seated practice today. But if you have the ability to recline in your chair, go for it if you'd like, if that feels better for you. And then I'd like to invite you to place your hands in whatever placement feels comfortable for you. And so it might be that bringing your hands together feels comfortable. And so one of the gifts from my teachers in India, one teacher, absolutely beautiful, Viji Basu, when she taught the Gita to us, the Bhagavad Gita, and she had studied it for about 14 years, so I trusted she knew what she was talking about. And one day at the end of her class, when she was guiding us, she said, if you'd like, bring your hands together, and or fingers, if you like, and if, imagine that you're connecting with your higher self or your higher power. And so I'd like to share that gift with you. And then draw your hands in towards your hip creases. Look down and into your heart, see what you can see. And then imagine that you're breathing into your heart. And so silent meditation at this point, just for a few moments, and then we'll transition into our final relaxation. And so come into whatever position you'd like for your final relaxation. Of course, again, getting whatever it is that you need to feel comfortable. And so you'll probably find that you'll start cooling down in a little bit. And so close your eyes softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. When we soften our gaze, it is calming for our nervous system. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. And tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. Soft yoga belly, the area between our navel and our pubic bone. Soft palms, quiet breath. Allow your breath to reflect the pose. Relax your jaw, unclench your teeth, and let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. Soften around your temples. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Wide forehead. Mentally, if you'd like, on inhale, saying the word let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. It's challenging to quiet your mind. Sometimes placing our hands on our yoga belly can be helpful, and bringing our awareness to our breath. Wherever you are in your breath cycle, or without changing anything, bring your awareness back to your breath. Thank your body. Thank your body again. And so to quote Matthew Sanford, our bodies are the best home our mind will ever have. And now see if you can begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes, hands and feet, waking up. Maybe rubbing the tips of your fingers with your thumbs. And come on up seated comfortably to finish up your yoga practice today. And so an invitation to bring your hands to your heart center. Lifting your heart to your hands, bow your head to your heart. Take a moment to bring the intention you set for your class back to mind. Then let it go. Take a moment to honor yourself and all the folks who showed up today for this yoga class, seen and unseen. Take a moment to honor yourself and each other. And so the teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. Thank you to Disability Foundation, ConnecTra, all the lovely folks behind the scenes who are making it possible for this class to manifest. So, big word, manifest. And so, just taking a moment to notice how you feel before and after your class. Not just immediately after. Maybe good to notice how you feel in the next day or two. And so if you're still feeling your practice in 2 days, more than 2 days, might be that you pushed too hard. If you're not feeling it at all, maybe you didn't work hard enough. And so I guess that's it for me for now, other than always love to hear from you after the class if you have any questions or feedback. And so I'll leave it open now for that piece for a few moments. Thank you.